This is one of the most fascinating fights in UFC history, when Khalil Rountree went up against a Glory Kickboxing world champion. He defeated the light heavyweight champion, who never lost his belt, Gokhan Saki, by knockout in the first round. How did he do that? How did he outstrike the striking specialist without any takedowns, no grappling whatsoever? He fought Gokhan Saki in his own game and beat him at it. It was off the leg kick. Saki is known for great kicks. He has good high kicks, good low kicks, very powerful. Same with Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira also throws a lot of leg kicks. He targets the calf mostly and doesn't really feint behind those many times. He likes to set him up off of his body jab sometimes and get you thinking about his left hook. Then he chops down on your leg. And the more calf kicks he lands, the more damage he causes to the opponent's movement. And Khalil Rountree could knock out Alex Pereira with the same exact sequence. Throwing a naked leg kick with no setup, Khalil Rountree will step right into the leg kick to check it at the same time while he's throwing the 1-2 combination down the center. Because when you're throwing a leg kick, you're planted. And the fighter that's moving forward throwing the punch can land flush and get the knockout. Khalil Rountree is so incredibly explosive. He can land those kind of shots and beat Alex Pereira in those exchanges because of his speed advantage, just like he did against Gokhan Saki. So he stepped into the leg kick, tried to check it, but the kick landed on the thigh, above the knee and above the shin. If it was a calf kick, it most likely would have been a check from Khalil Rountree. 1-2 down the center, left hand catches Gokhan Saki clean and knocks him down for the ground and pound. Finish him off with that. Khalil Rountree had a lot of great moments before that, which shows how good of a striker he actually is. I mean, it doesn't make sense that he got knocked out by Johnny Walker and lost to Marcin Prachnio, but if he knows that his opponent is a striker, they're a specialist, they're going to compete in a certain kind of style, not mix up the grappling, not mix up any wrestling, not really get into the clinch, a long-range kickboxing battle. If he knows that's the style of his opponent, he gets a lot more focused and more efficient in the fight. Is it enough to beat Alex Pereira? Maybe, maybe not. But the techniques that he showed here against Gokhan Saki, if he does beat Alex, or even makes it a competitive fight, might be very important. So right away in the fight, you see that Khalil Rountree came out Southpaw, where Gokhan Saki is the orthodox fighter. Left hand forward, Khalil Rountree has his right hand forward. There's going to be a lot of hand fighting. Khalil Rountree constantly was throwing that right jab at the lead hand of Gokhan Saki to eliminate it in those moments and also allow him to constantly move out to the right. He was moving away from Gokhan Saki's power hand and power kick. And because he's constantly jabbing at that lead hand, it's going to make it harder for Gokhan Saki to throw a left hook to intercept him. This is something he can also do to Alex Pereira to kind of free up his footwork here, because he was constantly moving throughout that fight. Forward and back, but always moving to the right. So that footwork and trapping of the lead hand causes Gokhan Saki to become more of a kicker in the fight, trying to slow down the footwork with his leg kicks and eventually bring those up high to try to get the knockout. A lot of times, fighters will throw leg kicks to condition the opponent to drop their guard when the high kick comes. It's a similar kind of setup where the hips are rotating and they're stepping to the side to create leverage for the kick. And they might drop their hands out of instinct to defend the low kick instead of just checking. But Khalil Rountree always was looking to check the kick. Keep his hands high, even while he's constantly moving around. He was always able to check a leg kick, which is a very unique skill that he has. Most fighters are not able to check kicks while they're moving. A light heavyweight like Khalil Rountree able to do that is kind of impressive. So you can see Gokhan Saki tries to land an inside leg kick, and Rountree has his right knee up to check it, while he's also moving backwards at the same time. Now comparing that to Alex, if Alex throws inside leg kicks, Rountree might be able to just check him even while he's moving around the octagon, which is something that Alex Pereira is not really used to in MMA, right? He doesn't really fight opponents that are able to do that. And if the leg kick becomes useless for Alex Pereira, his overall skill set usually isn't as effective. Evident from his Yuri Prochazka fights, his Israel Adesanya fights, he's usually able to land the knockout with his hands after he already caused damage to the legs. And if Khalil Rountree is able to check all of the leg kicks or move away from the leg kicks, that makes it a very interesting fight for Khalil Rountree. But there's one big difference between Gokhan Saki's leg kicks and Alex Pereira's: the way that they throw it. Nobody throws one like Alex. He doesn't rotate his hips. He doesn't really step to the side like this. Look how Gokhan's lead foot is pointed all the way to the side, and he's following through with his hips all the way. When the leg kick does not land, there's a huge follow through and overextension. He's out of his stance, off balance, and that can give Khalil Rountree an opportunity to land some kind of punch. It was a very early exchange in the fight, so Khalil Rountree didn't have the timing down yet with his punches and stuff. He didn't have the distance down with his jab, but when Alex Pereira misses a leg kick, he doesn't follow through as much, right? He doesn't overextend as much because he doesn't rotate his hips like that. So to counter Alex's missed leg kicks might be harder for Khalil Rountree than against Gokhan Saki. But to counter the leg kick altogether is still there, just like he did in the knockout sequence. And you can see with the movement, as Khalil Rountree is moving forward and back, he times the high kick from Gokhan Saki, who's reaching with his right hand forward to parry away Khalil Rountree's left hand. He's trying to bring that hand down so the high kick follows right through behind it, but he misses with the left hand. Rountree enters in with the jab, blocks the high kick with one hand, and lands the jab at the same time. If Gokhan was able to bring the hand down, this could have been a knockout blow, but because he just missed the hand by mere centimeters, the head kick is blocked and he gets countered by the jab. And Rountree was so quick with the footwork, he was able to rotate all the way to the right side there. Look at the angle he takes after countering that high kick. Very fast footwork, and that might be the biggest issue for Alex, is how fast Khalil is able to move around while also able to check kicks and evade them. So then afterward, Gokhan tries to blitz in with a combination, and that's where you see Rountree's wildness and more defenseless striking open up. When fighters start throwing punches at Rountree, he will just start swinging haymakers and hooks and just wild punches that knock you out, and relies on his speed. Those are moments where he can either catch Alex Pereira with some wild shot, or he leaves himself so open to counter punches where Alex is able to land the left hook. And all the punches here really don't land on Gokhan clean. You can see how this right hook, kind of hard to tell, but it looks like it may have landed as Gokhan's leaning away from it. This left straight slightly lands on Gokhan as it looks like he's leaning. This right hook here lands to the shoulder, and then this left straight misses completely. And look how Rountree becomes so overextended after throwing the left straight. Easy counter opportunity for Alex Pereira right there. So Rountree has to be a lot more composed with punches if he is exchanging with Alex. And Gokhan Saki tried to land his own counter left hook, where Khalil Rountree moved forward with the jab. Gokhan Saki was able to parry the jab and look to go over that same opening he just created with the left hook, but Rountree was able to pull away from it. Look how he leans away from the punch, evading it altogether, even though the opening was there for Gokhan Saki. That's the speed of Rountree right there. And also you can see the footwork where Rountree is moving to the right side, trying to step on the outside of the lead foot, as Gokhan Saki throws the body jab, which is a technique that Alex Pereira loves to throw as well. He has some of the best body jabs in the entire UFC. But as Rountree is moving to the right, it looked like he accidentally stepped on the lead foot of Gokhan Saki, and that kind of threw both of them off a bit. He eventually did get on the outside of the lead foot, but looked like both of them kind of lost balance a bit. But able to evade a body jab by moving on the outside like this and also leaning his body back is pretty impressive. And then another moment here where Khalil Rountree is moving laterally, he tries to move out to the right, and Gokhan Saki wants to cut off the footwork with the outside leg kick. And Rountree again was able to check the kick while moving laterally. That is such an impressive skill that he has. Most fighters are not able to do that, and Khalil Rountree was able to get the knockout by again moving to the right, stepping into the leg kick, checking it, 1-2 down the center, a very fast left hand, dropping Gokhan Saki. And to this day, probably Khalil Rountree's best win in the UFC, considering who he beat and how he beat them. Rankings-wise, it's Anthony Smith, right? But if Anthony Smith and Gokhan Saki fought in MMA while only striking, Gokhan Saki would win that fight most likely, and Rountree is able to outstrike him, knocking him out in the first round. That is Rountree's best win in his career so far. And maybe he could do something similar to Alex Pereira, the other Glory Kickboxing World Champion. A very rare opportunity for a fighter to go up against two Glory champions in an attempt to beat them both with just a striking skill. So amazing performance by Khalil Rountree, and he's only gotten better ever since that. You know, he's been training a lot in Thailand, honing his skills there. Maybe he doesn't move as much against Alex Pereira. Maybe he picks up that traditional Muay Thai stance, stays in front of Alex Pereira, and that could be a very dangerous approach for him against someone like Alex Pereira. But I still think that Khalil Rountree should mix in takedowns. Even if he beats Alex Pereira without any takedowns, a takedown threat against Alex is always going to be very big for any of his opponents. Whether that's Khalil Rountree, Jan Blachowicz, Yuri Prochazka, Jamal Hill, like all these guys, if they can attempt takedowns, that makes the fight so much better for them. But maybe Khalil's just that good. Maybe he just got way better with his striking. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. And if you did, make sure to give the video a like, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.